Between 25th November and 10th December every year, Uganda joins the rest of the world to commemorate the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. The days of activism have again come when Uganda is still grappling with the rising cases of gender-based violence. The police crime report for last year documented a total of 17,698 domestic violence cases. Out of these, 1,623 are rape cases, 8,960 are defilement cases, and 14,693 are sex-related crimes registered in the past years. This has been confirmed by the police officers in charge of the Children and Family Protection Unit during a press conference in Kampala in celebration of the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence.
Violence is too rampant, and of recent, I received a lady that was really tortured physically. The husband beat her, and she was in Nakawere of 8 days. That case has proceeded up to court. The emotional violence is also too much. This from January to October, I've now entered 20 cases of domestic violence. And the Office of Child and Family is to reconcile parties. There are situations that really need the files to proceed.
Officers contend that inadequate funding is hindering the fight against domestic violence.
And should also help us through this. About inadequate funds, I cannot really give in too much. As police, their procedures, there are those things that I have to talk about and other matters to be discussed by top officials. Otherwise, violence is rampant. And more so, these women come depressed, stressed. You have to give time. You have to listen to them. You have to encourage them. You have to restore hope for them.
We also ask government to earmark and allocate an adequate budget to the Family and Child Protection Unit of Police to effectively track, investigate, and assist in the prosecution of gender-based violence cases.
The former Minister of Ethics, now a human rights activist, Miriam Matembe, urges that women must participate in decision-making to come up with proper laws that will address the persistent challenge of gender-based violence.
A man raising and hitting the woman, how can you be there laughing, even if this woman has done anything wrong, even if there is, please, be human, come back to humanity and be responsive.
In Uganda, 56% of women have experienced physical violence at some point in their lives, according to the Uganda Demographic Health Survey of 2016. Matembe says gender-based violence comes with a lot of emotional stress, a reason it needs to be urgently dealt with.
You go and sleep with a man whom you don't want, but because of a job, the trauma, the mental, you can't even perform in that job. Because after all, when you sleep with them, they look at you as nothing. Oh, you people, your integrity, the integrity of a woman is in her sexuality, her sexual body, which is a temple of God.
This year's theme for the commemoration of the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence is Invest to prevent violence against women and girls as key players in the women's rights ecosystem. Story by Juliet Namuaya for the news.